Welcome to The Snap. This is a segment in which we give you helpful tips and tricks in a snap. I'm your host Josh, and in today's episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the YLL 3.0 Induction Heater. In this episode, I'll cover everything you need to get started. This isn't about one correct setting, it's about understanding your tools and finding what works best for you. Let's start with the basics of the YLL 3.0. To turn on the YLL, press the small center button 3 times. Next, insert your DynaVap device into the heating chamber. The heating chamber will automatically detect your DynaVap device and begin heating. Heat until you hear the click, and this signals that your device has reached the proper temperature. Remove your DynaVap and then take your draw. When finished, your DynaVap might still be hot, but you can use the magnet on the top of the YLL to allow your DynaVap to cool. A few additional tips for standard size DynaVaps: use the included adapter to prevent your device from leaning and causing uneven extractions. For larger chambers like the Hyperdyne, the Armor Cap, or Cap Armor, the adapter is not needed. Always double check that your cap is properly adjusted. This prevents the cap from falling off during heating. Following these steps ensures a safe, controlled, and most importantly, a consistent experience every time. Now, let's fine-tune the wattage on your YLL 3.0. This is where this induction heater really shines. Wattage controls how much power the heater is delivering into your device. This lets you slow roast for maximum extraction or heat faster for quick cycles. I recommend starting at one end of the spectrum. 30 to 40 watts will give you a slower controlled roast for more potent extractions, or 65 to 70 watts for faster heating depending on the depth. And that may allow for more heat cycles for your use case. By starting at an extreme, it helps you quickly understand what works for your setup. If the extraction feels far too slow or takes too many heat cycles, you know the low end is too gentle. If it heats too quickly but the vapor isn't dense enough, the high end is too aggressive. This gives you a clear frame of reference to dial in your session and aim for excellence. To begin adjusting your wattage, press that small center button twice. That enables you to adjust the wattage up or down by using the 2 buttons on the left and right hand side. Once you have locked that in, press that center button twice again to lock it in. Wattage is easy to adjust on the fly, so you can fine-tune as you go. Continue experimenting in small increments. After a few extractions, you will know your preferred range. For me, that is around 70 to 75 watts, specifically with the VongX tip. One thing to note, that depending on the battery life of your heater as well as the thermal conductivity of the tip, the max wattage that is using can actually be lower than what you have it set. So you'll see I have really low battery here. I'm set at 80 watts. When I put in my VongX, it says we have a maximum wattage of 55 watts. That's due to that lower battery life. It wants to make sure that it can fully heat up. That's not a flaw, that's just the device functioning as it should. Certain tips, such as the Helix, that has very low thermal conductivity by itself, that will have a lower maximum wattage that you can use with it, even with the full charge. So just be note of that. Now, let's get deep by talking about the depth. Depth is for fine-tuning once you have found the wattage you enjoy. Adjust the depth by removing the panel at the bottom. You can either push from the bottom for a shallower setting. For example, low and slow took too long for my preference. So at a higher wattage, extraction was faster, but the vapor density required multiple heat cycles. By lowering the adapter, I was able to focus the heat where the mass sits on my current tip, which is the VongX, and found a really happy medium. Do small adjustments over time to dial it in. And every tip will behave differently, so combining different wattage and depth gives a lot of room for experimentation. Each cap and tip combination tweaks the experience slightly. Now let's get into how to use the timer on the YLL 3.0. The buttons on the side adjust both the wattage and the timer. However, if you don't push the center button first, you can adjust the timer up and down. The timer will set how long the heater will run while a device is in the chamber. Begin by setting it to the maximum. Heat your device and watch the countdown. Subtract the starting time from when the click occurred, and that is your ideal timer. Now keep in mind that the heat up time changes during a session. A cold start takes longer than a device already warmed from a few draws. By starting with these basic tips and by paying attention to the placement and experimenting with different wattages, depths, and timers, you can quickly learn what works for you. And that has been our introduction to the YLL 3.0 Induction Heater. Let us know your preferred wattage, timer, usage, or favorite tip in the comments below. As always, this has been The Snap. I'm your host Josh, and thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, click the subscribe button and give us a like. If you liked what you see, make sure that you check out the other videos on our YouTube channel.